Honorable Todd CANTAMESSA, the self-appointed, self-confirmed district judge. You just need to go watch the video I've posted on. Just please see the video I've posted on the jurisdictional change in my case and how Todd CANTAMESSA pulls a similar move after having been dissatisfied with the Honorable Cheryl Lipton of the Western District of Tennessee. So here it is. We have a man with priors for disregarding the court. We have a man with priors for taking matters into his own hands when he doesn't like the actual order of the court. So when he, in a very meek and humble tone, says that he will do as the court wishes, put into effect what the court orders, well, clearly that's not the case. That's just Todd being the manipulator and con artist that he is. Your Honor, we'll be sure and do whatever the court would like us to do. Is that little shtick he does at the end of the hearing.
The U.S. Attorney's comments this morning, and we will proceed however the court wishes us to do.
Well, again, that's a shtick. Look what he did after the hearing. So, I mean, it's not opinion. It's not, it's just the facts. I think it's appropriate to just give up all the communications, all the emails, every single possible thing that I have on the topic, so as to provide the AO's office, Chief Judge Hernandez up in Portland, Oregon, any other parties that are interested. I'm certainly going to reach out to people in DC as well to just have what they need to get this guy out of here. I mean, it really what it boils down to. We need to get this bad actor and this fraudster, this crook, this guy that would just perjure himself that fast, violate a person's rights, cause himself liability as well as the United States Probation Office. It's the kind of thing that just, if the courts want their reputation back and they want their credibility back and they want to be viewed as an ethical group, a group that's really about the things that they publicize on their website in regards to ethics and professionalism and justice, presumption of innocence, that kind of thing. If you really want to live up to that, the only correct thing to do here, the only possible thing to do here to regain that would be the immediate termination of Todd CANTAMESSA. I mean, he just needs to be fired, shown the door. I argue, and I think present a very good case for exiting the federal building in handcuffs. It's that kind of situation. I've provided that kind of evidence, so we'll wait to see what happens. I'm going to place his number on the screen for everybody who's wanting to speak to him directly. I'll give you his cell number and his desk number. I think it's important that the community have a way to voice their concern. I appreciate all the support that I've gotten thus far and sympathy and encouragement. It really does mean a lot to me. But for those individuals who would like to voice their concern, I'll post his number. He's a public official. He works for us. He's a taxpayer funded individual, he gets paid from the taxpayers' dollars. So I don't find it out of line or in any way wrong to provide his number to those who would like to complain about his disservice and treachery that I've been able to demonstrate. I'll also give you Judge Hernandez's chambers, Judge the Honorable Michael McShane's chambers numbers, as well as his clerk and deputy. I'll give you all the information you need to make contact with those persons if you care to speak to them. I'm not advocating to complain to the Honorable Chief Judge Hernandez, certainly not to the Honorable Michael McShane. I honestly feel they're no more guilty, or excuse me, in the case of the Honorable Michael McShane, it's just a simple situation of he ought to be able to trust this senior supervising United States probation officer who's been at it nearly 30 years, if not slightly over 30 years. He should be able to take what Todd CANTAMESSA says to the bank. I mean, there should be absolutely no hesitation to believe him and know that he's only put forward a truthful, objective, accurate, vetted, reliable piece of information before the court. And again, he's guilty of just doing that, just trusting him. I mean, it's really what it boils down to. I don't deal with the Honorable Judge Michael McShane. I don't have conversations with him, weekly, if not, 3 or 4 times a week like I do Todd CANTAMESSA. In fact, I never have conversations with him. I just am a defendant before him in his courtroom. And so he doesn't have any familiarity with me. He doesn't know my search situation no more than what is provided to him by whom? By Todd CANTAMESSA, United States Probation Office Supervisor. So again, to place the blame at the feet of the Honorable Judge Michael McShane, I really don't feel like that's at all correct. It really doesn't address what's happening. What needs to happen here is Todd CANTAMESSA needs to be held responsible for lying to that judge, for taking that judge's court orders that he was present for, spoken on the bench, wadding them up, flipping them in the garbage, and then crafting this after the fact. Some 2.5 hours later, you can see it's electronically signed near noon, and that hearing, as I showed you, it happened at 9:30. So it's one of those things where it's premeditated, it's deliberate, or if it's not that, we can start a different conversation. That one would be whether Todd CANTAMESSA has the capacity, whether Todd CANTAMESSA is somehow not capable of performing his duties. His recollection isn't serving him well enough to be United States Probation Office supervisor, let alone officer. So we could start that argument if you'd like, because it really boils down to one or the other. This is a deliberate act, which I think I've laid down a solid, rock solid case, even for his biggest supporters. What I mean by that is fellow probation officers, fellow supervisors, the AO's office, judges, persons that would naturally want to be inclined to believe him and stand behind him for obvious reasons, to say, whoa, certainly there's something wrong there. I mean, at the very least, there's some misconduct there for sure, and some unprofessionalism, and some things that are not done by procedure. But even past that, that guy made a very persuasive case that this was deliberate actions, that these are actual criminal actions, that these were, in fact, willful violations of his rights. So, it's the kind of thing where basically, I don't understand how you argue with me. I really don't. So, again, he's either guilty of doing what I just discussed, or the only other possible thing scenario in which should be entertained is he doesn't have the mental capacities. He's deficient in some type of way that prevents him from having the minimum amount of intelligence or I'm trying to put this tactfully, but just not bright enough to do his job, not capable of dotting the I's and crossing the T's, and you heard the hearing, you heard the judge say what he said twice very clearly.